All right, boys and girls, it is, what the hell is it? Thursday, October 25th, 2012. I had completely forgotten about this whole Formspring thing until Easy Cyberpup was like, dude, when's your next Formspring video coming out? So this is actually going to be my last Formspring video, but don't you worry. I have something coming up which is going to be even better, and it'll still involve me answering your questions with my voice and all that good stuff. So for now, I've happened to have exactly 100 questions, so nice round number. So let's rock! Newfie Banga asks, do any of you have any rabid fanboys or fangirls, and if so, how do you handle it? In the past, I actually have had some fairly rabid, both fanboys and fangirls, and I pretty much just go along with it until the point where it starts to get creepy, at which point I block them from everything. Oh yeah. The Fifth Snow asks, Ekans is snake backwards, Arbok is cobra backwards, so what is Muck? Muck is cum backwards, so Muck is a big blob of purple cum. Who would have purple cum? Probably Grimace. I think Grimace would have purple cum. I imagine it anyway. Yes. Tattooed Yoshi asks, what do you think about a movie that's about people who are making a movie? Oh, I've seen some very great movies that were about people making a movie, or about trying to make a movie. Get Shorty comes to mind. The Truman Show was big about, a television show more than a movie, but that's one of my favorite movies of all time. There have probably been some others, yeah. Okay. Newfie Banga asks, if you eat ice cream, what is your favorite flavor? There's a lot of flavors that I like. I'd have to say, right now off the top of my head, my favorite flavor would be peppermint stick. Not peppermint, but peppermint stick. Pacifist asks a few questions in a row. What was the worst case of the flu/sickness you have ever had in your entire life? Well, back in 2004, I actually came down with pneumonia, like real full-blown pneumonia. Also tachycardia at the same time. My dad was driving me to work because I overslept, and I felt kind of icky, so I was like, maybe I should go to the doctor. So called up the doctor to see if he had any appointments, and he did, so he took me. And as I got there, I kept getting sicker and sicker, and my voice was like this. And the doctor diagnosed me with tachycardia and sent me over to the ER, where they diagnosed me with tachycardia and pneumonia and severe dehydration. They ended up putting, I think, over the course of that day and night, I was there overnight. I was there for a total of 2 days and 1 night. I think they put 6 or 8 bags of fluid in me, and my phone just beeped. There we go. Now it'll be quiet. Okay. Yeah, pneumonia. It really sucked. In fact, it sucked so bad that the next year I actually got a pneumonia shot. Like, how every year you can get a flu shot, and I recommend you do, by the way. There's also a pneumonia shot. They usually only give it to very old people. Well, not very old people, but senior citizens and older. But because I had gotten pneumonia, they said I should get the pneumonia shot, so I got that in 2005, and I'm supposed to get a booster every 10 years, so I'll get another one in 2015 if I'm still here. Next question. What the hell is this a picture of? Holy fuck, it's a woman. A naked woman. Well, she's wearing a thong. But she has pig ears, a pig nose, a pig tail, and 6 breasts. Man, very nice. I'm sure that's somebody's fantasy. Give up. It's supposed to represent swine flu. I don't get it. Okay. Hey, Doc, so how's that uninvited quickie coming? Yeah. It's not coming very well at all. I owe it to you guys. Yeah. I'll take a break from Shiny Fuss at some point and do that. And now, the one who made me remember that I do this Formspring thing, EZ Cyberpup, has some questions here. Do you think that if a person has been trying to get with a girl for 2 months and she still hasn't dumped her current BF, that he's not going to have it happen? I think so. I think 2 months is long enough. I think he should get the clue by then. Yeah. Boo! Boo? Was that like a boo trying to scare me, or like a boo saying sad? Oh well. When the time comes for you to make your choice come Judgment Day, what will you do? Well, I guess it really depends on what I'm choosing between, doesn't it? Oh well. How much wood could you eat if you could chew wood? That'd be kind of nice. I'd love to be able to eat wood. I think I would have it as a side dish with lunch every day. What was the stupidest thing you've done while drunk? Oh dear. was at a restaurant slash bar with my friends, and I decided to play Beat the Barman with bottles of Smirnoff Ice. And how that works is that you buy a drink, and you pay for it, and before the bartender is able to come back to you with your change, you've already consumed the entire drink and order another one. And I did that with bottles of Smirnoff Ice. I had about 8 or 10 in a row. And then when I finished the last one, I got so deathly sick that I ran out of the restaurant into the parking lot and vomited all over the parking lot. Haven't been back to that restaurant since. When did you first realize that you were a fucked up nutcase? Actually, that's not strictly true. I'm not a fucked up nutcase. I'm a nutted up fuckcase. There's a slight difference there. It's subtle. I'm bored. What should I do? Tell me, what should I do? Masturbate. That's what I would do. Why do I always have to play hitch for people when they can't get into a relationship? I don't know, and that can be an awkward position to be in. I actually tend to play matchmaker myself. I'm kind of like, what the fuck was his name? Cyrano de Bergerac, except with a significantly smaller nose. And larger. Moving right along, Madar Ruad asks 3 questions in a row. Ugh, I finally ran a full system scan on my computer and found 28 infected files, and now Avast is running a boot scan. And after I've waited about 4 hours for the first scan to finish, I need to wait again. How often do you guys run scans? Well, I actually have a full scan scheduled to run in the middle of the night if I'm not using the computer. I leave my computer on all the time, just because that's what geeks tend to do, and also because my Twitter bots run on my computer. Well, most of them anyway. So I have it scheduled, a full scan scheduled to run every night, I think at 4 a.m.? Yeah, I think at 4 a.m. And interestingly, at 3:30 a.m., my router resets itself every night. I always discover that if I'm up in the middle of the night at 3:15, I get a pop-up saying, Belkin's going to restart your router in 15 minutes. Make your time. Alright, what should I drink right now? Cold Diet Cola or cold light beer? Oh god, cold light beer, please. Diet Cola can lift my... Lift? Yeah, Diet Cola can lift my left nut. Not lick. Not a fan of the Diet Colas, except for Diet Pepsi myself. You know, the reason that Diet Coke tastes so different than regular Coke isn't because they didn't know how to make a good-tasting diet tonic. It's because they intentionally made it taste different. They originally wanted to market it to a completely different audience. They didn't just want to market it to people who like Coke but want to save on calories. They went to... Oh, never mind. That's boring as hell. Watching NCIS, some middle-aged dude says, No, don't worry, Jack. That's a woman's work about helping the guy's wife in the kitchen. Old Southern people sure are racist and sexist. That's not a question, but I agree with you there. FanDude41 asks, is there anything else in the MLP world as scarring as Pinkie Pie in a saloon girl outfit? Yes, there is. I have one word for you. Cupcakes. Nufi Banga asks, have you ever played a video game and wondered if the villain of that game was truly a villain at all? If so, who and why? Cover your ears for about 30 seconds if you haven't completed Pokemon Black 2 or White 2 yet, because I'm going to reveal a slight spoiler for it. Colress from that game. You eventually learn that, you know, he's basically the big villain of the game, and I didn't buy it for one goddamn minute. Because he's so scientific. He's like the definition of lawful neutral. I mean, he doesn't care if the world burns, as long as it, you know, makes Pokemon stronger. So I don't really see that as evil. It's just pure neutrality. And his battle theme is kick-ass, too. Char Colt 64 asks, for laptop users, what do you do with old laptops you don't use anymore? Here's the thing, I do have an old laptop. It's in one of my dresser drawers. But I'm one of those people who has extreme difficulty throwing out a computer for some reason. A lot of people are that way. A lot of people have the mentality of, we can't throw it away because it's a computer. And for me, I'm pretty much the same way, and I also like to think of salvaging them for parts or putting them in my computer museum that I keep in the basement. Yeah. Nufi Banga asks, ever play a video game and had a luck-based event, rare item drop, rare enemy encounter, etc., happen on the first try? Yes, sort of. Oh dear. In Final Fantasy I, in Tiamat's castle, there's a long, skinny bridge near the end, sometimes called Warmek's Bridge, because that bridge is patrolled by a random enemy called Warmech. It's an extremely rare encounter. 1 in 64, 3 in 64, something like that. And Warmech is basically the super boss for the game, who is actually easily more powerful than Tiamat, and probably at least as powerful as the final boss Chaos. And one time, when I wasn't specifically hunting for Warmech, I happened to run into him on the very first step of the bridge, and he also got Monster Strikes first, and he wiped out my party with a couple of uses of nuclear. Yeah, that was a really good example of good luck that was shit. Madaruad asks, oh god, all the electricity in my house went off and my internet's down too. Thanks, mobile internet. And my computer and mobile are gonna die anyway. Anyone want to guess why I'm sad? Or rather, what makes me most sad? Movies where they shoot the dog in the end. An anonymous user asks, is there any reality show that you like? Yes, actually, I must admit to enjoying The Amazing Race. I really like the fact that it's a reality show that doesn't have all that stupid nonsense of, like, alliances and stuff, and that it's really skill-based, except for when they get really crappy taxi drivers. Yeah, I hate that. Although there is a reality show that I was on for one season, and I don't necessarily think is coming back, called Expedition Impossible, and it was basically like The Amazing Race, except that they were teams of 3, and it had more of an extreme outdoor element to it. They weren't really, like, traveling on planes and in cities and stuff. And the reason that I like that more is that the randomness present inherently in The Amazing Race was completely removed from that game. Like, in The Amazing Race, you could be winning, and then all of a sudden get, like, a taxi driver who gets you lost, or, like, you get a flat tire in your car or something like that. I actually saw that happen recently. 2 people were racing, literally, neck and neck, which doesn't happen very often, and they were racing for last place and second to last, with last place being eliminated. And they came to a fork in the road, and one of the taxis literally took the left one, and the other one took the right, and it turned out that, I don't remember which was which, but one of them was actually a completely wrong turn, and their taxi driver ended up getting them lost, and they came in last place and were eliminated from the game because of that. Expedition Impossible doesn't have anything like that. If you lose on that game, it's your fault. Charcoal64 asks, we're here fighting atop of Mount Fuji. What are we fighting for? We're fighting for the last crab rangoon. Charcoal64 asks, do you like dots? Hell yeah, I like dots, but I also like dashes. The Fifth Snow asks, Lollipop Chainsaw, your feelings? Other than aroused ones, please. Seems like a really neat idea for a game. I haven't checked it out yet. I haven't played a modern video game in ages. I only recently just plugged in my 360 after it had been unplugged for a while. The Fifth Snow asks, if Poison Ivy was so into plant rights and feelings, wouldn't you think she would be a carnivore instead of a herbivore? You see her eating salads and shit. Doesn't that make her a big hypocrite? Couldn't you see her putting big meat in her mouth? Giggity giggity. Oh. You know what, bro? You make a good point there. I completely agree with you. She should eat meat. Man meat. Nufibanga asks, if you could have any video game character as a brother or sister, who and why? As a sibling. And a video game character as a sibling. I'd have Roll as my little sister, because she's fucking adorable, she's a lolly, and as a robot she would never age, so she would be a cute, adorable lolly forever, and she could clean my bedroom. Karuka Kuroichi asks, wer ist dein Lieblingsspielantagonist? That's German, which I don't speak, so let's run over to the translator. Who is your favorite Who is your favorite video game antagonist? I'll tell you right now, it's Rubicant from Final Fantasy IV, because he is the definition of lawful evil. He is the most evil guy I'll ever meet, but he is a complete gentleman. He believes in fair play, and he is genuinely saddened by and hurt by what Dr. Lugai did to Edge's parents. He always, believes in a fair fight, so he completely heals you before you fight him. He doesn't kill innocent children. He has a code of ethics, but he's still fucking evil, yeah. Franco-Matic asks, where the fuck did it go? Oh, there it is. How bad of an idea is this? Action 52, either NES or Genesis race, with conditions for completing each game decided by some sort of outside party. Actually, that sounds like it could be fun for a stream. Could have, like, a 4-player Action 52 race, maybe for charity. Space Ninja 88 asks, Kihogi Birri I have no idea what that says, and I don't even know what language it is, so... Apparently it's Hungarian. Oh, okay, and it translates to, who is to stand the heat? I'm sorry, I still don't know what you mean. Newfibanga asks, so I plan to start VVVVVV this weekend after Molemania is done. The question is, what day would be best, Friday or Saturday? Well, this was ages ago because it's been so long since I do these, so my answer wouldn't matter. Sorry, dude. Zigbar31 asks, what was the first DVD that you bought? Interesting question. The first DVD I ever bought was I actually bought 3 DVDs at once because I bought my family our first DVD player as a family gift when I was in my late teens. And along with the DVD player, I bought 4 DVDs. I bought Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, Fantasia, Fantasia 2000, and the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So I guess all 4 of those would tie for first. Newfibanga asks, do you wish Steam or any other PC game distributor like GOG, for example, sold more DOS games? Oh, fuck yeah, I wish that. Charcolt64 asks, if I was to start a random rumor about you, what would you like it to be about? I'd like the rumor to be that my penis is huge. Why not? Newfibanga asks, so everybody settle your bets. How many deaths will I have in VVVVVV by the time I finish the game and get all the trinkets? 774. If you get that reference, you're awesome. 8 Soma Cruises asks, if you could choose between Lolly and Dusty, who'd you choose? Interesting question, because you spelled Lolly L-O-L-L-Y. Now, I assume you mean Lolly as in, like, you know, a cute, adorable little animated girl. But it is also possible that you actually meant L-O-L-L-Y as Lolly, which was the name of one of my parakeets when I was a child. My first parakeet was named Fleeko, and then shortly after we bought he was a male, and then shortly after we bought a female parakeet named Lolly, and they lived together in harmony. Lolly was actually short for Princess Lollipop. I don't know where I came up with that name. I think that might have been the protagonist from Candyland. But as for Fleeko, I have no fucking clue where I came up with that name. But, sorry, gotta go with Dusty. Love him. 8 Summer Cruises asks, whose name do you like to say more? An anonymous user asks, or Snorlag asks? Well, they're both a lot of fun. An anonymous user asks has that nice highness to it, and Snorlag asks has that nice lowness to it. I should be a voice actor. Now we got... Well, I lost my place. Okay, here we go. An anonymous user asks, last video you stated that Moon Man has had sex with everyone. I've also heard that thousands of children are born each day. How does he keep up with keeping the title of having sex with everyone? Well, here's the thing. That's kind of a lie, because he only has sex with adults. So, thousands of people are born each day. He won't have sex with them until they're 18. He never has sex with children, because, I mean, you know, as evil as he is, he does think pedophilia is gross. But it also just because he can't fucking stand children. He'd rather kill them than get anywhere near them. And he would never be able to get close enough to them to have sex with them. An anonymous user asks, what time is it when you're recording the video? It's currently 10:44 p.m. An anonymous user asks, can you give us a tour of the land that you go to when you dream? Oh God, I would love to do that. See, when I dream, it takes place in a slightly nonsensical, yet completely consistent world. There are like places that are always there. And there are connections. It's loosely based on Boston, but there are some major differences in it. For example, there's other subway lines. Like I know that there's in addition to the red, orange, green, blue, and silver lines, there is a yellow line, which connects to the blue and orange line at State Street. And the blue line also has a southern portion of it. And it doesn't actually, in my dream world, it doesn't terminate at Bowdoin. In fact, it doesn't go to Bowdoin at all. At Government Center, it basically does a huge, like, U-turn and goes to the right and then goes south, where it splits into 2 lines and then rejoins with itself at some point. And the yellow line also goes that way. And off the top of my head, I only know of 2 station names on the blue line extension. There's one called Army, and there's one called Crayon Factory. And at one point, the blue line and the yellow line run parallel to each other. And there might be a place where they have a common station. Oh, God, I'm supposed to be boring you to tears. I'll continue. 8 8 Soma Cruises asks, what do you think of my name? I like your name. I don't quite understand it, but I do love Soma Cruz. He's probably my favorite Castlevania protagonist. 8 Soma Cruises asks, LRMMESENTIIAOHROMPIG. Okay, got that? No, I don't, actually. 8 Soma Cruises asks, oh, we got binary here. Okay, so let me run screaming to my binary translator. Binary, it's digitalicious. So binary, decode. Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 is a ba. Okay, it probably cut you off. Maybe, I don't know. 8 Soma Cruises now asks, can you decode that without a binary translator? Here's some hints. 1, it's Sonic related. 2, it's in the Dark Age of Sonic. 3, it's no use, take this. Well, I did cheat, sorry. Char Colt 64 asks, for Let's Players, ever get the hiccups when you want to record, but you have to wait till they subside? I've gotten the hiccups in the middle of recording, dude. It's no fun. Char Colt 64 asks, what's your darkest desire? To watch the world burn. Newfie Banga asks, if Lara Croft, Nathan Drake, and Wario each were in the same game looking for treasure, would you be excited at the thought of it or think of it as the worst idea for a game ever? I think that would be fucking awesome, dude, and you could choose which character to play as. Charcoal64 asks, Pokemon or Persona? Pokemon, please, thank you. Zigbar31 asks, what actor, actress, or musician's death has or would affect you? I'd have to say the death of Kurt Cobain. I mean, I remember exactly where I was when I got the news, and it really, really bummed me out for a very long time. Zigbar31 asks, if you're mad about something, are there any shows or movies you can watch that could potentially make you feel better? That's a good question, actually. Yes, there are. I can't think of what they are off the top of my head, but I know they exist. Charcoal64 asks, can all the bacon in the world save you? I don't know. Let's find out. Bacon. What would you do, is Charcoal64 again, what would you do if you came across someone who streamed asking donations for if he can pay his child support? Oh, God, I would post the link to 4chan, and then they could, like, make fun of him and stuff. Newfie Banga asks, are you looking forward to anything this September? Oh, dear, that shows you how long it's been since I've done this. Charcoal64 asks, what game have you played that had you by your balls? Oh dear, Ultimate Super Mario 3. Newfie Banga asks, anyone who's a fan of Mega Man games, which would you rather see happen first? Mega Man 11, X9, Battle Network 7, Legends 3, 05, oh dear, the list goes on. I'd like to see Mega Man 11. I want to see them fucking kill Dr. Wily. I want to see like a close-up of Mega Man equipping Bladesman's weapon and just fucking cutting his head off. Zigbar31 asks, I like your boop boss. B close parenthesis. Well, thanks, but that's not a question and I don't even understand it. Yeah. Zigbar31 asks, finally back up to 69 followers. Thank you. You're welcome, but again, that's not a question. Yeah. Char Colt 64 asks, you have now swapped bodies with the last person you talked to. What would you do? Oh dear. The last person I talked to was Tatsudoshi. So, fuck, what would I do? Oh dear, I have no idea. Necro Paladin asks, choose your own adventure 4. As you enter the cabin, you see a bear inside. Do you run away, play dead, or give it some food? Oh, I'll give it some food. Cuddly bear, cuddly bear. These are all by Necro Paladin until I say otherwise. I was asking about your plushies. I spelled plus instead of plush. Do you have a plush of something unlike any animal, Pokemon, Digimon, etc.? I wanted you to try and describe such a plush. Well, yeah, I have a little tiny plushie I made myself at a plush making course at Anime Boston last year. I really sucked at making it, though, because I have very bad fine motor skills, so I was able to sew the body together, but didn't have time to do much other than that. I sewed some yarn on it for hair. I sewed basically like a toga on it for clothes, and the face I just drew on with a magic marker. It basically looks like a voodoo doll dressed in the clothing of a psychiatric patient. I even gave him a name, but God, if I remember what it was. If time was made all metric, so that one day a kilosecond, 1 hour was a hectosecond, a minute, I thought that's a new system. What time is it now? I have no idea. Where do you live again? Obviously, I'm not asking you to give your address unless you want me to visit you with random other fans. I live in Boston. If you open a birthday present, presumably on or near your birthday, and I was in it, what would you do with me? I'd give you a big hug and then take you out for drinks, and then we'd play video games. And then I'd wake up. In relation to my metric time question, would it have been better if I used years instead of days as my base unit? Oh, dude, I have no idea. That question just really confused me. Should I have made days, hours, decidays, minutes, centidays, and seconds, millidays? Yeah, that probably would work better, actually. Does time... Oh, dear, you're really into this metric time thing, aren't you? Does time resist metricization by the whole 365.25-ish days per year not being remotely a multiple of 10? Yeah, actually it does. Sorry, metric time. Do you actually have a hat/camera of the same sort as in your picture? I do have a hat similar to the one in the picture. It doesn't really fit my head because I have a fucking huge head. I have several hats that are really nice but don't fit me. Lately I've been wearing an authentic Scottish tam o' shanter, which miraculously does fit me. But I do have a hat like that. I do not have a camera like that, though. I wish I did, though. Isn't that a fairly old type of camera? Yes, it is a very old type of camera. Do they still make film and develop film for that style of camera? Yes, they do. They do, but it's the kind of film you generally develop yourself at home, like in your own darkroom. If you could take a picture of anything, even something that could not possibly happen in real life, what would you photographize? Interesting question. I'd take a picture of an irresistible force meeting an immovable object. What would you do if you painted a picture of someone and when you woke up it had changed to show that person in a hospital, and you found out that that person had been hospitalized from a car crash that happened while you were sleeping? Well, I would paint myself with a huge fucking pile of money and then take a nap. If you really could become rock, paper, and scissors, what would you use your newfound powers for? God, that's a strange set of superpowers. I turn myself into scissors and go around stabbing people. Choose a card, any card. What do you mean they're all 5 of clubs? Are you mad at me for assembling 52 5 of clubs into a deck specifically for this trick? No, I'm not mad at you. In fact, I probably took a lot of effort. I just think it's very silly. Do you like Star Trek? If so, how well do you know your Ferengi rules of acquisition? Actually, I'm not a huge Star Trek fan. Sorry. MP Spam asks, this is not a question. This is an announcement. Oh, okay, cool, so I don't have to read it. No, I will no longer be using Formspring. I will now be using Tumblr as a central hub for info and question answering. But if you guys follow MP Spam, you already knew that. Sonata Hi asks, what games do you play when your friends are over? Strip Twister. I don't know. We usually don't play games. Wow, after looking at my list... Oh, this is Madaruad. Oh, God. I'm not going to read this question. It's sad. Yeah, that's a sad question. Sorry. Newfibug asks, are you the kind of person who looks after others more than you look after yourself? The other way around, or caring both ways? Definitely the first one, because I tend to take shit care of myself, but really look out for other people. Newfibanga asks, for any LP you're planning to get a Wii U, are you planning to do a Let's Play off that console before Christmas 2012? No, I'm not, and that would really violate the 3-month rule, so poop on that. Sonata Hi asks, favorite kind of donuts? Boston cream. Zigbar31 asks, how do I become productive? Please respond. Learn time management. You really gotta budget your time. Budget it as if it were money. Char Colt 64 asks, "You're the hardest boss in the game, and you've just beaten me with items. What do you say?" I say, "Ha ha ha, this room was an illusion created by Satan. Go back to the beginning and beat the game again." Yeah. Char Colt 64 asks, "How many times has GameFAQs lied to you?" Oh god, more than I can count. I don't really trust them, and about as far as I can throw them. Although lately, I have been using a very good FAQ of the Pokestar Studios minigame from Pokemon Black and White 2. Very nice. Char Colt, no. Azure Dragonius asks, "Favorite JoJo's Bizarre Adventure arc?" I'm not really familiar with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure except for if you know what I mean. Char Colt 64 asks, "Can you babysit my Titus?" In accordance with Megan's Law, no, I cannot. Someone, an anonymous user asks, "Have you been watching Gravity Falls?" Not as much as I should. I need to tell my TiVo to stop recording it. Charcoal 64 asks, "Do feet turn you on?" No, they don't, but I do love feet. I love playing with people's feet, wiggling their toes, rubbing their feet, but it's completely non-sexual. It doesn't matter who they are. I mean, hell, even like animals' feet. I like rubbing their feet, but Dusty doesn't like his feet to be played with. He barks. Charcoal 64 asks, "Do you know any old people 60 plus that make LP videos?" I'm sure there has to be a few of them. I think Navigator was over 60. He passed away, of course, but I guess his videos wouldn't really be considered LPs. They were more like reviews. I don't know any old LPers. Tattooed Yoshi asks, "Doc, what do you think of this Kafka Yu-Gi-Oh card?" And there's a link. And I click the link. And it's loading. Come on. Well, considering that I know diddly dick about Yu-Gi-Oh, it probably won't mean much to me anyway. So I'm going to let that load and continue onward. Just 2 more questions. Oh, wow. Welcome to your new inbox, Doc Sigma. No, shut up. Shut up, Formspring. Oh, here we go. Ajax error. Oh, that's convenient. Holy shit, Kefka. It appears to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 stars. It's divine type. Has an attack of 99,999 and a defense of 99,999. This card requires 4 tributes. So basically, it's a completely immune card that can kill anything in one hit. Well, that's convenient. It does look pretty cool, though. I'll give it that. Zigbar31 asks, "What movie do you regret watching in theaters?" Regret watching in theaters. Probably Apollo 13, which was the last movie that I can remember actually walking out on. Yeah. And the Formspring question of the day is my final question. Comedy or drama? Well, that's a pretty fucking stupid question. I like them both. And that wraps up this edition of Formspring questions. Now, as I said, this is my last Formspring video. But as I promised, I'm going to be replacing it with something even better. I have decided that starting very soon, I am going to be doing a weekly podcast with Tatsudoshi. And we're probably going to call it the Carnival of Values podcast. And every week it will include Formspring questions and answers. So every week it'll just be a week's worth of questions and answers, so there probably won't be like hundreds of them. Well, if it does get to be hundreds of them, I might have to pick and choose, but we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens, but for now, I'm going to be turning off my Formspring for now, and I'll be turning it back on when I'm ready to start getting questions again, which should hopefully be very soon. So for now, this is Doc Sigma signing off. I hope you've enjoyed this strange journey, and please feel free to enjoy my other videos, or watch them and don't enjoy them, or don't watch them, whatever. Doc Sigma signing off. Thanks for watching. I'll see you around. Cheers!